whatever happened to states' rights and, allowing states to handle their internal affairs and not have the federal government just
states' rights.
Stick the hand in there and say, we're going to take all your money away that, by the way, you as taxpayers paid for.
Your money. In this case, states' rights would mean, I guess, allowing UCLA to continue to operate Jew exclusion zones on their campus. We called it alleged anti-Semitism. This has been one of the worst places in the country on college campuses for the mistreatment and terrorism of Jewish students. That's number one.
Why doesn't he just address that?
He is addressing that.
No, I mean, meaning like actually deal with the school and address those problems of anti-Semitism. Why is the threat expanding and metastasizing to the entire state?
Well, this is the state school system. So, he's making it known that the state of California has not done.
That actually is even more to the point. It's a state school system. You're identifying problems that potentially happened on a campus of a massive state school system.
I think to try to downplay what happened out there is a mistake.
Why is Trump sort of taking a sledgehammer to something that is like a tiny little thing that he needs to just address in a concerted way?
I do not agree that what happened on the campuses is a tiny little thing. And I think to get people's attention,
a targeted approach to the issue that you are identifying.
This is an approach to the issue. It is targeted. It's targeted at the state that allowed it. And regarding the other issue with the transgender athletes, the president signed an executive order on this. The administration has a legal point of view about it. And they told states, if you permit this punishment of girls who are trying to play their sports, we're going to come after you. So they were warned. They chose to move forward with it anyway. Even the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has expressed some, misgivings about having transgender athletes in these competitions, but he wouldn't step in and do anything about it. So I think the state of California, for a lot of reasons, deserves what they're getting today, and hopefully it leads to some behavior modification.
How do you, as the president, target an entire state because you disagree with two things that happened there? That makes no sense to me, and I don't think it should make sense to any of us.
It's because anti-Semitism should not be condoned.
Why is anti-Semitism the only prejudice that matters?
Why
does it feel like that?
It's not. But the attempt.
It does.
I'll tell you. Hold on one second.
Go for it.
Here. I got to tell you, I'm a Jewish American. I've been so my entire life. I'm not exactly the most religious guy in the world.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, as a Jewish American, I have been so sick of every single time that there's been hate against Jewish folks, that all of a sudden, the hate against other minorities is just as bad, and we should elevate that as well. I'm not saying that we shouldn't talk about it, but sometimes it is okay just to talk about anti-Semitism.
It is okay to talk about it, but it's not.
The fact that you have this dude on here willing to defend the behavior of California, it's not just the anti-Semitism that's happening in California, specifically on college campuses. And it's more than just UCLA. There's a plethora of state schools that this is happening on or at. But the other thing is the biological boys competing against girls in sports, and they're dominating. They've been warned. They have been warned. And I'm with Scott Jennings on this 100%. What are your thoughts on it? Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep going.
He also just a little over a half an hour ago posted that he will apologize profusely as soon as there is a dump of the Epstein files, apologizing to Donald Trump. So not exactly backing off some of the most salacious accusations here, but I don't know, Essie, let's start with the Trump of it all. He really is trying to not turn up the volume all the way up. Why do you think that is?
First, can I just say, and I don't usually talk like this because I'm not persuaded by identity politics, but can we get some women in charge of shit? I'm sorry.
Yes,
this is the cringiest, pettiest, most childish fight for all of the concerns that we're too emotional. I am so embarrassed for men in this moment. I think that just needs to be said. But yeah, the Trump of it all, it's really interesting. Trump doesn't need Elon's money per se, but Republicans do. I'm not sure why Trump is kind of being a little bit restrained. I don't think I would call him restrained yesterday. I think they all went to DEFCON 5 pretty quick. And this idea of mutually assured destruction, it's a really good concept when you have two powerful actors. They agree, if we attack each other, we're both going down. That usually works unless you have two people with no impulse control. And these two people have no impulse control. So it went from like detente to DEFCON 5 in a matter of hours.
And Elon is still there.
Hours.
He's still all the way
He's
up
still
at
up there,
10.
right.
John is with us at the table. I mean, Elon.
Sorry, men, but like, get it together.
No, I'm with you. Believe me.
The fact that she says that we need women in charge. Are you kidding me? Yeah, these two individuals, President Trump and Elon Musk. Yes, the spat, it's on the pettier side of things. But come on, man. There's a plethora of spots around the country where women are in charge, to include what's going on in LA right now. And it's not looking good, nor has it looked good in the places where they are in charge. Come on, man. Stop it. Really? Y'all see two dudes going at it. And again, we said this on Friday. This could be a psyop to force people like her and others within the Democrat Party to force their side to freaking release these Epstein files. I'm just saying. This could be just one big grand just scheme by both of these people. You just never know.
Can't wait for the women to take over. I wish they would.
I mean,
But
Elon
respectfully, I did try to get a woman elected in 2016 and 2024. So,
Well,
I mean,
the American people picked one in 2016.
and I'm just saying that there were for different reasons, a lot of reasons we don't have women elected president of the United States.
Exactly.
Now, but
Right.
go ahead.
Of course. I think we're seeing that men are too emotional to work together. It's very sad. I'm a fan of morality and comedy, so I spent the day enjoying this. I think a lot of people had 135 days of a pressure valve emotionally ready to release, and for a lot of folks, it was a bit cathartic. I don't know how much good is going to come from this, but it was like porn for the angels. What we saw yesterday was like the Hindenburg crashing into the Titanic with the Benny Hill theme playing as a soundtrack. The comedy was beautiful. Two narcissists with no impulse control. Everyone thought they'd get along just great. You've got Trump accusing him of being a junkie. You have Mr. Musk accusing Mr. Trump of being a pedophile. And the Republicans are like, guys, can this just wait until we gut Medicaid first, please? It's not going to go away. It's not going to help anybody. And I think Trump is confident because he's already won. He knows the Republican Party will stay with him and not go with Musk. And I don't think he wants to add too much more sunlight to these accusations by responding.
I just feel like at this point, they're just trying to keep Elon from burning the whole house down.
Yeah.
And he could.
Yeah.
You know, whether rhetorically or whatever. I mean, he controls a major platform of disseminating information and sort of influencing how people feel about things.
But he's already made his feelings known about this legislation. I mean, he's already.
But now it's not just the legislation, it's also Trump.
And
It's Trump and Republicans.
Let
and
the
all of
man
that.
speak.
You think one more person?
Every time Scott goes to speak, Abby goes in and cuts him off immediately. She let two people just, spew some of the most ridiculousness, out there. Obviously, you got the male feminists on the panel here. Come on now.
Making salacious accusations against Donald Trump is going to change, the last 10 years? I mean, I don't.
This isn't just one person.
I don't really believe that. And I think if there were really bad things about Donald Trump, we would already know about it. This is the most thoroughly
Facts.
vetted American in political history. And so I guess I just don't buy that piece of it. I think it's extremely regrettable that this relationship has splintered. And, hopefully someday cooler heads will prevail.
But are you
see what happens.
surprised, Scott? Because you're inside MAGA circles. Are you surprised that these two couldn't coexist forever? I mean, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at the friction, actually, between the more libertarian, newish Republican
The policy stuff,
wing and what Trump represents. These are two different sort of economic theories.
Right.
I mean, they just are. That friction has existed in the party, so that doesn't surprise me.
hold on.
The personal
Is
escalation
this libertarianism,
is surprising.
though? Hold on, but is this really libertarianism, or is this not like classic conservatism? Like classic
There's nothing
Republican
about it.
ideology
There's nothing about there-
is you want to reduce the fiscal irresponsibility of the federal government.
look at
like
that.
There's
I feel like
nothing about-
I'm saying this not just truthfully. I think Elon is trying to hold Republicans accountable to their own statements.
There's
in the
nothing about
past.
Donald Trump that is a classic conservative. If you go back and you look at conservatives throughout history or Republicans throughout history, I mean, there is nothing that Ronald Reagan has in common with Donald Trump. There's
Peace
nothing.
through strength?
What?
Peace through strength?
No, I mean
It's
but
was
that's
their
a
slogan, and it's
facade. I
ours
mean, that's
too.
a slogan that actually Ronald Reagan attempted to uphold. Donald Trump does not. There's no George H.W. There's no George W. Bush. There's no John McCain in Donald Trump. So to say that he is trying to be this conservative is cosplay. He's reformed. He is drastically shifted the paradigm on what Republicans really are. The problem, though, with this battle between Elon and Donald Trump is something Republicans can't grasp, which is this fundamental fact. MAGA-ism, or MAGA, whatever you want to call it, politics, is non-transferable. It belongs to one man. It belongs to Donald Trump. And what Elon Musk is doing is tearing down everything else around that. He's going to make it entirely difficult for people like J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or Nikki Haley. Y'all remember her? Or people like Chris Christie, who want to find this vein to come in, maybe not Chris, but who want to find this vein to come in and try to slice that off. Elon Musk is going to make that really difficult.
But does anyone here believe?
Not true. Because people are not going to run back to the Democrat Party because there's a rift between Elon and President Trump. That's not going to happen. Democrats, I mean, I know they're gleeful, they're happy, about this rift. They're really excited about it. Obviously, they even, put together a weekend show just to talk about it. But the reality of it is this: the Democrat Party, their agenda and their policy, it's so bad. And it's so bad for America when you have 80% of people that just do not rock with them at all. They're hoping that this little splinter between President Trump and Elon would shift some people back to the Democrat Party. I don't think it's going to happen. And the reality is, the people that have left the Democrat Party, they didn't join the MAGA movement. Some did, but most didn't, and most didn't join the Republican Party. Most just moved to being an independent and saying, hey, we're just going to look at both sides and we're going to judge accordingly. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already.
Trump's talking about things like using the military on American citizens to make blue states behave and to round up immigrants and to police his enemies. And it sounds like Pete would be totally down for that. My husband comes from a military family. My father-in-law is a huge military hero. I have a lot of faith in our military. I have a lot of respect for our military. I have a lot of respect for Pete's service. But that's not how the military is supposed to be used. I don't want to be bringing back waterboarding. I don't want to be a country that tortures people, especially if we're the kind of country that's going to be using the military against our own citizens.
Well, wait,
this kind of thing concerns me.
What do you mean use against our own citizens?
I'm talking about
you
sending...
said blue states behave. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about sending the military into blue states to make them behave. Getting Gavin Newsom under control, getting J.P. Pritzker under control.
What are you
making
talking about? What do you mean? Like sitting into the state capitol to commandeer the state government?
I hope not, but I'm definitely, he's definitely talked about that. I don't know why you're acting like you've never heard
the
this
military
before.
to suppress, in the Black Lives Matter era, those protests in the street. He
was there
that's
himself.
Actually
I think it's disingenuous to act like we don't know what she's talking about, to act like he hasn't said this. We know what he said. We all heard him say it. And so that's what it is. The military is only as good as the people who are running it. Pete Hegseth has talked about putting things back in place that have not been policy for the United States because they're wrong. Yeah. And so we have to decide, are we going to do what's right, or are we going to do what Donald Trump wants us to do when we know that it's wrong?
Can I just make sure I understand your position? That you believe Donald Trump is going to use the military to set up effectively like coups in state capitals of states that he didn't win?
I think you're taking it a step or two.
No, she said make blue states behave, and she also said round up immigrants. That's not true. Well, it's deport illegal immigrants.
Scott,
I think you just
Scott, I don't know why you're acting. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
hey, language matters. Language matters a lot. And when you say something like, "Oh, President Trump's going to use the military on citizens or going to round up immigrants," I mean, come on, man. Language does matter. Yes. The majority of Americans want illegal immigrants, people who are undocumented that shouldn't be here. They want them out of the country. The people that are here legally, the people that are immigrants that are real assets, to society, we welcome them. We appreciate them. We do. But when you start talking, when you make these types of statements, man, and that's a problem with mainstream media, and that's the problem with a lot of Democrats. They tell half truths all the time, and people are tired of it.
Well, I'm sorry. Hold on. I mean, look. I think you're right. Let's be precise. Trump has wanted to use the military to do things domestically that actually the military is not allowed to do. I think that's the point that she's making.
Like what?
like deport illegal immigrants. That is actually not a function of the military.
The military can absolutely be used to work with local officials to provide military resources, but working with other parts of the federal government and local officials. We already send the National Guard to the border.
Not against the will of the local officials or the will of the state government.
Oh,
We have a federalist government here.
Scott, you know as well as I do that the
you're saying
National
exactly
Guard,
what Trump's saying. Oh, yes, we can.
Border,
we can do it against
when
the
the
government
National
as well.
Guard gets sent to the border, they're sent for tactical and sometimes just providing material support to the border officials. They're not there rounding up migrants, but Donald Trump has been pretty clear.
Yeah.
That's his vision. And people who understand the law around these things say that I mean, maybe I should point to the lawyer. So we have two lawyers at the table, but look, it's going to be an issue that's litigated.
The fact that you have people upset that we have a president willing to do the things that are necessary to help make this country safe, I have a problem with. Sending National Guard down to the border to help assist with Border Patrol, whose numbers are down right now, it's not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. And the last time I checked, the federal government's one of their responsibility is to make sure that the country is protected. This shouldn't even be an argument, man.
He tries to do it. There's no question about that.
The military is not supposed to take up arms against American citizens,
They're
period.
not. You keep
And
saying
so-
that. This is about illegal immigration. You all keep saying American citizens.
Well,
it's
how do
about
we
illegal
know whether the
immigration.
people are illegal or not?
Well, when we
know
have,
after they're shot.
We have 1.6.
We know after they die.
We
That's
have
not the point.
1.6 million people in this country
Scott,
who've
you're
already
on to
received
illegal immigration.
deportation
That's not
orders
the
from
point.
courts. They are
Hold
here
on.
illegally.
No, it's
and courts
always
are
back to
adjudicating.
illegal immigration with people who support Donald Trump. It's always
Yes.
back to illegal immigration.
People
But
are pissed
that's not the only thing that we're talking about here. We're talking about the American people. We're talking about taking up arms against them with a military that's supposed to be protecting
Sorry,
them.
this is not right. You cannot say Donald Trump is sending the military to
We
round
didn't
up.
say
That's
he
what
was
he
sending-
said.
that is what he
That's
is
what he
saying,
said. That's
Scott.
not what I'm saying.
Totally false.
He said that.
Totally false.
That's what he said.
Scott, Trump.
We're
Trump
in the
has-
fever swamps, Abby.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
What is your dispute here? I'm not even really
Because they're
understanding
saying
it
that he's sending the military to shoot or round up American citizens. Not
We did
true.
not say shoot
I think
people,
the issue.
Scott.
The issue.
You said
Scott,
take. He just said take up arms.
I said
Scott, why are you acting like Donald
Actually,
Trump
let me
has
ask
not
Elliot
said
here.
this?
I mean,
Look,
look,
I did say take up arms
Hold on,
because when
Solomon.
you send the army in, that
When you say take up arms, what does that mean, sir? Again, language matters. When someone hears, oh, they're sending the troops down to take up arms against people, yeah, that definitely means, to point weapons and to shoot. Like, what are we talking about here, man?
that's what they're there
Solomon.
for.
Elliot, let me just ask you a question here, because I think this is partly what this is about. When we're talking about the use of the military on domestic soil, this is a complicated legal issue.
Yes. As a general rule, military cannot be used on domestic soil. Now, in the event, we're a president, as we'll see in South Korea.
The thing is that they can send the National Guard. The National Guard's job is to be the guard of they are the guardsmen of our country. To send National Guard anywhere is not, outside of what their job is. That's their job.
To declare martial law, then certainly there are circumstances where military force can be used on American soil. But no, and I think we can all agree that the military has no day-to-day role in American law enforcement or immigration enforcement.
But
I think.
Can I ask
you?
The Insurrection Act, which is what Donald Trump wanted to use on January 6th, what he's talked about using numerous times, the Insurrection Act, allows us to remove constitutional protections and use the military on our own citizens, correct?
So I believe the president has made statements that suggest a willingness to use the Insurrection Act in the future.
Yeah, I think we're going a little far afield here. I think we're giving Pete a bad rap. Look, the guy's on television every day for 14 years. God knows if they took everything I've said every time and spliced them all together, what would come out. I don't think anyone's talking about, making blue states red. Look, I have no problem telling you. Let me tell you. My law office is on 5th Avenue and 45th Street. When the George Floyd riots were going on, and on Election Day, when all of Fifth Avenue was boarded up with plywood, and I had tears in my eyes on an American election day that in the middle of Manhattan, we couldn't handle what was going on. God bless the NYPD. They did a spectacular job. But if they picked up the phone and said, listen, we need the guys in Fort Hamilton Army Base to come and just maintain calm, I would have zero problem with that whatsoever. I think those are the kinds of feelings that the Trump administration is saying. We're going to just make sure law and order is kept in line.
Can I ask you a question, then? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you feel then on January 6th when all of those people stormed our nation's capital and our president did not call in any sort of armed forces to put that down, to make the people safe, to make the Congress people that were in there trying to certify an election safe? You wanted people on Fifth Avenue during the election day to make you feel safe, even though you had the
feel safe?
Even though you had the
They
NYPD.
broke the window of Tiffany's,
even though you
the
had
NBA
the NYPD,
store.
but you are not asking for the president to have called for any sort of military aid during something like
I will
January
defer
6th.
to the gentleman to your right who knows a lot more about this and what Pelosi's role was in that, what the Capitol Police role was in that.
I'm just talking about the
military.
military.
I don't know if the military needed to be
Pelosi.
brought in that day, I would have been fine.
Well, I want to ask a question
I would have no
because
problem.
you said you had tears in your eyes.
What we do know is that it was offered. Pelosi turned it down, and she's already it's already come out that is the case. That's what I'm talking about with these people, man. And that's why people don't believe a lot of these folks on mainstream media, man, because they lie. They just flat out lie. Language does matter. The meaning of words do matter. I get it. I know a lot of Democrats, man, they want to change words in the dictionary to mean whatever it is that they would like it to mean. But the reality of it is this, man. You're watching these people on a day-to-day basis, man. They are lying their tails off to you, man. The fact that this lady got up there, with a straight face and said that the president plans to use the American military on its own people is just flat out ridiculous, man. I'm really, really sick and tired of these people. I really am. I'm sick and tired of people like this, man. That get up there, because the thing is that you'll have people that will watch this. This is the only news that they get. This is the only side of a story that they'll get, and they'll run with it, and they'll go and regurgitate this foolery to others like it's the truth. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Join the ARP family, or you can buy your man a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Join us tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. Appreciate the love, support. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.